Dallas Mavericks embark on a crucial 5-game road trip after falling 109-94 to the Indiana Pacers. This is the Gray Area right here on Kevin Gray Sports. My name is Kevin Gray. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. Be sure to hit that subscribe button right there for all things Kevin Gray Sports here on YouTube. The Dallas Mavericks fall to 23-20 on the season, still a half game up in the Southwest Division over the San Antonio Spurs, still remain in the 7th seed right now, currently in the Western Conference standings, still in that dangerous, though, play-in tournament territory as it stands after 43 basketball games for the Dallas Mavericks. They waste a 31.18 rebound performance from one Kristaps Porzingis in a game in which Luka Doncic missed the game due to lower back tightness. It will remain to be seen if he's available against the New Orleans Pelicans as they begin this 5-game road trip, a crucial make-or-break 5-game road trip for a team that is perilously hanging on right now to a Western Conference play-in spot currently as it stands in the NBA. Miles Turner was spectacular for the Indiana Pacers with 7 blocks in this game, providing the defensive presence and effort for an Indiana Pacers team that was shooting the ball extremely well from the three-point line, going 20 of 47, shooting nearly 43% from the three-point line. I asked Kristaps Porzingis after the game, was there any extra pressure on him to shoulder the load and come out aggressive with the absence of Luka Doncic in this particular basketball game? Here is what Kristaps Porzingis had to say after the game. Hey, KP, going into tonight's game, did you feel any extra sense of urgency to come out aggressive early, especially in the first quarter, to try and set the tone, knowing that Luka was going to be out tonight and try and shoulder some more of that load tonight?
Not particularly. No, I kind of just wanted to play my game, be aggressive, but also involve everybody and make sure we're playing good basketball. But yeah, sometimes things. Tonight I felt like just so many little things didn't go our way, and obviously there's always things that you can do better as a team, but I feel like all those rebounds, those long bounces from their shots just weren't going our way at all. And the game was just an uphill battle. It felt like we had our good moments, but overall it was a tough one, and it's definitely a one that we can look back and learn some stuff from.
So Kristaps Porzingis, who came out extremely aggressive in both the first and the third quarters, having 13 points in the first quarter and another 15 in the third quarter alone, was not able to do enough for a Dallas Mavericks basketball team that really needed Luka Doncic. And I tweeted this during the game. I shudder to think what this team would be like in the Dallas Mavericks if they did not have Luka Doncic playing for them every single night. And you kind of got a glimpse of that, of what you saw from the Indiana Pacers, a team that saw a guy in T.J. McConnell in the fourth quarter go off for 8 points. Doug McDermott, before leaving with an ankle injury, was a combined 7 of 8 with Miles Turner from the three-point line at one point in this basketball game. And the Pacers just seemed like the much more aggressive, much more energetic team. The ball seemed to be sticking and not moving around the way that the Mavericks are accustomed to, given the kind of offense that they like to run. Obviously, Rick Carlisle talking about the sticking points in this basketball game, the inability for this Mavericks team to really put themselves in position where they were sharing the basketball, a lot of standing around, a lot of stagnation on this offense with no Luka Doncic around to create for them. They tried to get back into the basketball game in the third quarter, at one point cutting the lead down to 6. A Trey Burke backcourt violation led to a 6-0 run, which extended the lead back to 12 for the Indiana Pacers, and it was pretty much all she wrote from there, as the Mavericks were never really able to sustain any kind of momentum in this basketball game, going a putrid 8 of 35 from the three-point line, just 23% from the field. It seemed like they were getting killed on the offensive glass, rebounding still a problem for this basketball team. But more importantly now, as they get ready to embark on this 5-game road trip, a trip that seems make or break for a basketball team that's just 3 games above 500, made a minor move in acquiring one J.J. Redick. President and GM of basketball operations, Donnie Nelson, met with the media prior to the game against the Indiana Pacers and had some interesting comments about how the trade went down for J.J. Redick to become a part of the Dallas Mavericks.
Had a really good conversation with him yesterday after we made the deal. Rick did again today. Obviously, the big thing for him is getting that heel right. I think, the preference would have been to, in a buyout situation, to be able to, pick his location, but it didn't happen like that. So I think he's really excited. He told me Luke was one of his favorite players, and Luke had a chance to exchange some texts with him, as did Dirk, and I think he's pretty excited about coming to Dallas.
Yes, it has been widely reported and known that J.J. Redick wanted to have a buyout from the New Orleans Pelicans and potentially join the Brooklyn Nets because his family lives in the Northeast in the Brooklyn area and have an opportunity to be closer to them, especially chasing a championship as the 15-year veteran appears to be doing at the late stages of his career. But, as Donnie Nelson said, it didn't happen that way. And it remains to be seen because now the questions about his heel injury, the right heel inflammation, which he had a non-surgical procedure on, may keep him out a little bit longer than what is expected given the timetable that we're looking at here.
I think with JJ, it's a little bit different. That's something where Casey, that has a relationship with him from USA Basketball, is communicating with him. We want to make sure that heel is 100%. And so that's more of a situation where we're going to have a chance to maybe have him work out, and then slowly, when it's comfortable, to integrate and come to Dallas.
We're talking about a Mavericks team right now, as it stands. They've played 43 basketball games. They still have 29 games left in the regular season, but there's no timetable for J.J. Redick to appear for this basketball team. Not only will he have to get over, obviously, getting to 100% as far as the right heel inflammation is concerned, then the ramping up and conditioning period for a guy who's been out since early March due to that non-surgical procedure. Who knows how many games he will actually play, and if the Mavericks make it to the playoffs, how effective he will be. We've talked about and broke down the idea of what J.J. Redick is going to be able to provide from this team for a three-point standpoint, his ability to hit threes off of pin-down screens and dribble handoffs, getting into the pick-and-roll situations, a prolific three-point shooter, nearly 42% for his entire career. But at this late stages of the season, where you do have 29 games left, a team that's going on the road to take on his former team in the New Orleans Pelicans in a crucial 5-game road trip, how quickly are you going to be able to get J.J. Redick back on this basketball team, a team that is desperate for more shot making, aside from guys like Tim Hardaway on this basketball team, but more so the veteran presence and leadership that you expect from a J.J. Redick in the 15-year portion of his career when it comes to what he's been in this league. As far as a player is concerned, the Mavericks go on the road as you look at their next 5 basketball games. On the road at New Orleans, at OKC, Boston, New York, and then Washington before coming home to take on the Utah Jazz. They are playing teams, especially in teams like the New York Knicks, who are playing pretty good basketball these days. So none of these games are going to be gimmies. And we've heard Rick Carlisle talk about the idea of resting Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis with respect to this second half of the year and trying to get them the kind of rest needed to be able to have the kind of second half that they are accustomed to needing from these two guys. You got the effort that you looked for from Kristaps Porzingis with the 31 points and 18 rebounds. You really didn't get much help from anywhere else on this team. Tim Hardaway had 16 points in this basketball game. But again, the collective energy and effort, the non-sharing of the basketball, and then obviously coupled with the effort that the Indiana Pacers put forward, this was not the kind of basketball game that you would like to see, especially when you saw how good the Indiana Pacers were shooting the ball from the three-point line. Yes, T.J. McConnell's a scrappy player, is a top 3 steals guy in the league this year, but this is a game that you have to win, especially against the Indiana Pacers team that's under 500. Malcolm Brogdon had 21 points in this game. Karis LeVert played pretty well in this game for the Pacers, but at the same time, this is still a team in the Dallas Mavericks that should have won this game. And you cannot drop games in a tight Western Conference where you're fighting for playoff position. And I understand if this had been a playoff situation, I would imagine Luka Doncic would have probably played in a basketball game in a playoff-specific situation. You're kind of in playoff mode right now if you're the Dallas Mavericks because you do not want to find yourself in a play-in situation, especially when you start looking at how the Western Conference could be reshaping here over the next several weeks with LeBron James out the next 4 to 6 weeks. Anthony Davis still out for the next couple of weeks. The Lakers can find themselves free-falling to where they're in that play-in situation And you don't want to see the Los Angeles Lakers when they are fully healthy with LeBron James and Anthony Davis back. Obviously, teams like the Utah Jazz, the Los Angeles Clippers, and the Phoenix Suns remain at the top of the Western Conference, but the Portland Trail Blazers, the Denver Nuggets are all still lurking there, and of course the San Antonio Spurs right now holding down the 8th spot in the Western Conference. So the Mavericks have got some serious work to do. The lackluster effort that they put forward on both ends of the floor was not a very good indication of what you have going forward. But back to J.J. Redick. It's amazing to think that the Dallas Mavericks, who traded for J.J. Redick, now find themselves in position to possibly have traded for a limb. You say, Kevin, well, weren't you the one talking about the veteran leadership and presence that J.J. Redick could bring? This was also before we knew the progression of where J.J. Redick was in terms of his heel injury. He may not be anywhere close to a potential coming to the Dallas Mavericks, which is a huge problem, especially if medical information was ignored or whatever the case may be. To have the Mavericks be in this position now where they are looking to try and see when J.J. Redick is going to come back, because he's not going to join them during this 5-game road trip. They will meet Nicolo Melli there in New Orleans as far as him coming to the Mavericks is concerned. But there's no timetable for J.J. Redick to appear for this basketball team. That's a problem. Yes, you gave up essentially nothing to get J.J. Redick, but where the Mavericks are in relation to the Western Conference standings and what they need to do going forward and the crucial 5-game road trip that they're on right now, you need to have J.J. Redick available and available sooner than later. But more importantly, the Mavericks cannot play down to their competition the way that they did against the Indiana Pacers and think that they're going to make the NBA playoffs in the Western Conference, because the way that they are seeing their schedules play out right now, yes, much easier in the second half, but at the same time, a crucial 5-game road trip coming up for a Mavericks team that needs to get every single win that they can get. It will be interesting to see if Kristaps Porzingis plays against the New Orleans Pelicans after playing in his particular game nearly 38 minutes in this game. Who knows if Kristaps Porzingis will be available to take on the New Orleans Pelicans. But at the same time, the Dallas Mavericks have a crucial 5-game road trip. They are going to need everyone and every hand on deck, and we'll see if Luka Doncic makes his return against the Pelicans as they start this 5-game road trip as they take on the New Orleans Pelicans and then move on to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder before visiting Boston, New York, and Washington out on the East Coast. It appears that J.J. Redick will continue to work out, as reports have surfaced that he will continue to work out from Donnie Nelson until he is fully 100% ready to go and join the Dallas Mavericks. He has a previous relationship with Casey Smith, the head athletic trainer for the Dallas Mavericks and from USA Basketball. So there's a previous relationship there. So they will continue to work him out until he's fully 100% healthy. And then he will have his conditioning and ramping up period to join the Dallas Mavericks. Who knows when that will be? But for now, the Dallas Mavericks at 23-20 take on a New Orleans Pelicans basketball team that's extremely talented. They're going to keep Lonzo Ball. Zion Williamson has been playing spectacular basketball this season for the New Orleans Pelicans, but a game that the Mavericks should win even though they will be on the road. They've been a much better road team, it feels like, than they have been at home this year, and unfortunately that bared that out again against the Indiana Pacers. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for all things Kevin Gray Sports right here on YouTube. This has been another episode of The Gray Area. We'll talk to you later. Peace.